Okay, here's my serger. It's an older one, but I love it. I use it all the time. People can get slightly exasperated with sergers because the threading is can be an issue. My workspace is horribly cluttered because I have about 50,000 projects going on at any given time. And so I'm going to show you what you're going to do. Now, I didn't pin these, and of course you're going to pin. I did not pin these because they're flannel, it sticks together well, and I only have one hand to make this video, rather than wait for my 17-year-old son to get home to try to help me. Last time he did that, they couldn't stop laughing, and so it didn't work very well. So on your serger, you're going to have markings. I don't think they're going to show up very well here, but you can see that right there. All right, you can see those markings. That's going to be your where it's measured. So you actually want to do a 5/8 inch seam, just like the old home ec teachers. There we go. There's the 5/8. Like the old home ec teachers would tell you to do a 5/8 inch seam. If the pattern indicates otherwise, you're going to do a smaller seam. But 5/8 is standard in garment sewing. So you're going to sew that with the serger. And the thing that I love about a serger, and you'll see that on here, is that it makes 2 seams right away off the bat. You don't have to reinforce it. It's automatically going to sew because it's a double needle. I'll get this straightened out here. And it also finishes and it cuts. It trims your seam all at once. So this is why you can make a pair of pajama bottoms in about a half an hour or less, or leggings or something like that, of that nature. This is slightly awkward because, like I said, I'm holding this iPad to try to get this video, to try to show you what it's going to do here. Now, these are for a friend of mine. She came into the shop yesterday, or she's been coming in to try to get these sewn for her son. And it's about a few days before Christmas, and typically I would say, you know, I've got my own Christmas projects to do, so I really can't help you with your project right now. But because I have a serger and she doesn't, I see the benefits of it taking me a half an hour to sew these pajama bottoms, and it would take her several hours probably to put this whole thing together. So I said, you know, let me just take them home and whip them together on my serger. Okay, now, so seamstresses who have sewn clothing before always have an easier time sewing curves. They get into a quilting class and curves are no big deal to them because this is what you do when you sew clothing. So here we have a curve, and we're just going to float right around that curve with the serger because, like I said, seamstresses who sew garments are much better at sewing curves. Okay, so now I have this already reinforced. If I were sewing it on my regular sewing machine, I would sew that 5/8 inch seam, and then I would sew it on the inside of that seam again because they're pajama bottoms, and you want that reinforcement in the crotch when you're flipping yourself around under the covers. See how nice finish? 2 seams, 1, 2, finished off and trimmed, and that's why I love a serger. So you can do that 1 crotch seam, okay, and then you can do the other crotch seam, and this is why it goes so fast, because then all you have is that inner leg seam and then the casing and the hem, and you're done. I mean, these really went together uber quickly. All right.